Hello friends, this is Jimmy from Can Have Immigration Canada. Let's talk about some of the Canadian immigration updates that happened in last week or so. So we'll go one by one through each of them. As I've mentioned in my other videos, like Saskatchewan has invited another uh, 8, 850 plus express entry and occupation in demand candidates in their latest draw on October the 31st. That was quite a bit jump in their draws. Like they have done 11 draws so far since September 25th, I believe so. And the total number of invitations they have issued is close to 5,000. So if we look at the another update, the processing time for applications to the federal self-employed person program now has down to 22 months. This is a major improvement from 7 years. It was taking just a few years ago, like the time was more than 7 years for self-employed person program. Now it has down to 22 months. If you're applying under the federal self-employed person program to come to Canada on a business class visas, it will be taking 22 months now. If we go to the other update about the Canadian immigration, uh, this year so far 70,000 plus express entry invitations have been issued by the federal government alone. We're not talking about here the PNP invitation, just the express entry invitations. When you apply for CRS express entry pool and you got a nomination from the federal government, we're talking about that. So still November and December is left for, let's see, hope is that it'll reach 90,000 plus. So that was another update. I'll make a separate video for the province of Quebec. The rules are getting very hard and hard nowadays. In the province of Quebec, they have set up a lot of new rules that I will explain in my separate video just for the province of Quebec immigration criteria. The another update is from the Atlantic Canada. Like we were looking for AIPP, like a lot of candidates have. There's a very easy process and getting an employer job and then the PR. Yes, Atlantic Canada is experiencing a immigration revolution right now. Between 2011 and 2016, like the jump has been gone multiple times. The number of immigration programs, the pilot programs have been going in that province. All of those provinces is getting very popular, and a lot of immigrants are planning and opting in for the Atlantic provinces in Canada. In my other another video, I have mentioned like Nova Scotia has also uh, give invitation to 430 plus registered nurses and registered psychiatric nurses. In that video, I mentioned what are the criteria they have uh, taken into consideration to give the nomination for the nurses. So that was a little update. So another one was from Manitoba. Manitoba, the last draw from Manitoba has invited 157 skilled worker and international students. So out of that, the skilled workers within Manitoba, the 117 invitation went, skilled worker overseas 24 and international education stream 16. The Manitoba provincial nominations at the 12 of the invitation issued also went to the profile in the federal express entry system. They are also taking some of the eligible candidate from the express entry pool, as I mentioned. Like a lot of the provinces are looking under the federal express entry. If they find a suitable candidate, they give the nomination, as was seen in Saskatchewan, Alberta, Nova Scotia. Mostly all of the provinces, they are done with the first come first serve basis, because that was very tedious. You have to be online all the time, and once it's open for a few hours and it's gone after that. We were talking about the Manitoba, the skilled worker overseas. These the minimum score in their category was 685. Uh, Skilled worker in Manitoba category, the minimum score was 567. The international education stream, they do not look for the minimum or high score. So there was a little update from the province of Manitoba in terms of Canadian immigration. And if you look at the Alberta, as I mentioned, like they have their own program. They look under the federal express entry system and invite the candidates. So they have invited 150 federal express entry candidates who apply for the provincial nomination for the Canadian permanent residence. The minimum score they have taken into consideration in this draw was 350. If you are 350 or above and meet some of their criteria, you would have definitely got the invitation from Alberta to apply for their provincial nomination. As I mentioned in almost every of my video, each of the videos, like um, they are more likely to issue invitation to the express entry candidates who have Alberta job offer and a work experience, or they are graduated from a Canadian post-secondary institution, or they have a relative such as their brother, parent, child, sibling, brother, sister, like the real brother and sister living in the province. You are most likely to get the invitations. But if your express entry profile is expiring in 3 months, you will not get the invitation from the province of Alberta. That is always in their uh, list for to check the eligibility criteria for the candidates. And if we go into another update for Canadian immigration, there were 3,900 candidates that have been invited under the Federal Express Entry system, but the CRS score has went up drastically, went to 475. The last time we seen 464, but this time it went up by another 11 points. This is all because of the provincial nomination, because every province is giving you the nomination and they got enough candidates through that, because you'll get 600 points directly once you have been nominated through the province. So that's why the score we have never seen this year is going down. So if we look at the British Columbia, the whatever the draw happened, the day was on, it was on October the 30th, 2019. This was the 44th draw in the year of 2019 by the British Columbia. They have issued 437 invitations to the provincial nomination candidate for the permanent residence. Uh, I always got the calls from like, you must share the minimum score required. Let's go into the detail of that. Express entry BC skilled worker, the minimum score was 99. Express entry BC international graduate 102. Skilled immigration under the skilled worker 93. Skilled immigration international graduate 102. Skilled immigration entry level and semi skilled was 77. If we look at the entrepreneur immigration, the base category was 114, and the entrepreneur immigration under the regional pilot program that has started earlier this year, the minimum score was 110. So these were the few updates from the Canadian immigration point of view that I think you guys must know what's happening in this area. So that was a little update about mostly the draws happen, what are the other conditions and criteria coming and leaving the Canadian immigration system. I'll keep you up guys updated. As I mentioned in this video, I'll make a separate video for the Quebec. There are a lot of changes are coming from the Quebec that I will let you know what's happening and how you guys can get benefited from them. Till then, you guys all have a good day. Bye.